What's up guys, and welcome to a brand new section in our Photoshop beginner course here on Pixel Perfect. My name is Tom Richard Jr. and as usual, I'm your guide. So today we are going to be looking at almost all the tools in Photoshop. Well, we are going to focus more on some of them. We're paying more attention to some of the primary tools as Photoshop and graphic design beginners we are going to be using more of the time. So without further ado, I'm Richard Jr., your instructor. Let's get into today's video. So just so we're on the same page, try to have something like mine. What you could do is go to Windows, Workspaces, Essentials. I've customized mine this way because this is how I feel most comfortable working. This is what works best for me, and so guys, that is it. So let's start straight away with the first tool represented in every Photoshop window is the Move tool. Just like it says, Move tool, move tool. You guys, you got it. Yeah, so anyway, up here in this section we have certain options by which we could manipulate the tools down here on the left. So taking a look at this, auto select. So over here we have two pick photos stacked on top of each other, and then to explain our Move tool, so our Move tool simply moves the images. Good. Now up here are options with which we could use to manipulate how our Move tool works. Okay, and so over here which says auto select, when it's checked it simply selects and you're able to move whichever layer or object you click on here in the Photoshop window. This is what happens. See, I'm moving the square flyer. Once I click on the model, it moves. But if we have this unselected, over here is a male model that is selected, and so even if we click on the flyer, the male model is still going to move. If we click on the male model will move. However, if we select the male model from the layers panel here, and we if we select the flyer over here, and then we click on the flyer over here, it's going to move. If the flyer is still selected here on the layers panel and we click on the male model, male model won't move, but the flyer will continue moving. So that's basically what the auto select does. You could also decide to select whether a group or layers, but I'll suggest you leave it on layers. But anyway, whatever works for you guys, go use it. Who knows, probably I'm just the others we should be spending our time on. So the next one is the marquee tool. The marquee tool is simply used for selection. Okay, here we have the rectangular marquee tool, elliptical marquee tool, single row marquee tool, single color marquee tool, and let's go and explain that. Good. So marquee tool, this is what happens. Over here we have a list of options. So usually by default it's going to be selected on this, which is a new selection. So it's rectangular. So normally what it does is it's free form, and so you can draw any type of selection you want, but it's always going to be a rectangle or a square, but you get the whole idea. It's always going to be bound by those vertical and horizontal lines. Good. And so that is basically it. You could also decide to move your selection. Once you select something, let me make the selection a little smaller. Good. You can also hit Ctrl D to deselect. Those are shortcuts you get to learn as you continue. So once you right click on the selection, there are certain options given you. So you could either create a new layer via copy, and this is what happens. You've copied it and the original is still there. So now up here for the other options, for instance, let's select this again. Over here, this adds a new selection. Okay, it adds to the current selection, and so if we do this, it's going to add this subtracts. So guys, I'm going to be pretty fast. If you want to really get what I'm doing, download the video, slow it down, I don't know, but find a way to slow it down and then rewatch it again to understand what I'm doing. So it subtracts the selection. That is basically it, guys. These are things you should just play around. Usually once you know what the tool does, come up here and play around with the options available. And it's the same with the elliptical, what is it called? Elliptical tool, yeah, and that is it. So let me hit L for the lasso tool, and then the lasso tool over here there are some options. We have the lasso tool, polygonal lasso tool, magnetic lasso tool. So the lasso tool is the base one, which allows you delete this, which allows you perform selections. You'd have to drag and hold freeform as though you were drawing. Photoshop is really, I wonder where the world would have been without all these apps we have back then in the 19 anyway. And then it's selected, so you could also decide to move the selection, or you put it back right where you made it, and that is it, guys. Now for the polygonal lasso tool simply allows you make the same selection, but this time in the form of a polygon, where you are able to create anchor points. So for instance, let me start this all over again. One mark, 1 point, another point, another point. There we have something like a polygon or whatever. 1 2 3 4. Don't. There it is. You see, in a polygonal form. Click, click, click. I'm trying to be as fast as possible so that we do not spend so much time on one simple tool. And that is it. So we selected. You feel free to do whatever you want with it. For the magnetic lasso tool, I like this one. I like this one so much, because it enables you to make selections when you don't have the time to use a pen tool to be focused on what you are selecting. So this is what it does. Just simply click on it and drag, and it moves. It samples the layers around it. It samples the pixels around it. Uses color information to detect, color information, contrast, and all of those to detect edges. You see, I'm getting on this all wrong already. Okay, I messed that one up. It can be a nuisance sometimes to detect color information. So as I was saying, it uses color information, contrast to detect edges, and objects. And so once you just drag around, it's going to make the selection for you. And after it makes the selection for you, feel free to do whatever you want to do with that selection. So guys, this is just practice. This is just to show you what it does. So it's going to be quite rough. And then you can mask, do whatever you want to do with it. And that is it for the magnetic lasso tool. The next is the quick selection tool. Quick selection tool. For this, let me see. I think this video where there's more contrast. Yeah, black and white. Quick selection tool. This guy looks kind of angry. Anyway, it's a nice photo. So for the quick selection tool, we have the object selection tool. This is what the object selection tool samples, the pixels around it, and then tries to find the most dominant object there. For instance, we are going to try to select the head and see what happens. Voila, there we have it. So it's managed to know that, okay, this is the hair, because this entire section is black, and then next is this gray, black and white, whatever the color is section. So it combines them together and says, okay, this looks like this object. It is in a definite form, and so it samples all those pixels and gives it to us. Let's say we wanted to, and then the next is the quick selection tool. So if we wanted to, let's say, include portions of the neck area, what we simply do is hit this add selection and simply drag it like, okay. So the AI tries to determine similar pixels, similar colors, and then helps you with the selection. So this is what it has done. It selected and included the shirt. So let's mask it. There we have it. You could play around with your eraser also. Yeah, and then beautiful. Next is the crop tool. Yeah, we've been cropping images since we started taking selfies. And that's simply what it does. It crops out your image for you. Now there are two ways to cropping here in Photoshop. I don't know about earlier versions, but for 2020, you may decide to retain the pixels of the crop part, or otherwise you may decide to delete them. How we do this is we go to the options here. Here we have delete crop pixel. So before I check that one, let us try cropping without deleting the crop pixel. So I'm just going to crop it up to his neck area, and then we're going to try cropping it back. And so we still have the pixels as a whole, and so we're able to revert to the original image. So then let's say we select delete crop pixels. That's over here. What happens is we crop again, check, go to uncrop it, and we've lost the information that was there. We've lost the detail that was there, and so for that reason it is all blacked out over here. It tries to rework it, but come on, this is worse than it looked earlier. So that is it for the crop tool. We're just simply going to skip over these. You don't need them right now. maybe in later tutorials you get to see what they use. The next now is the eyedropper tool. The eyedropper tool simply picks colors. Okay, here in your foreground color is white, and your eyedropper tool, once you click on it, just click on anything at all, any color. For instance, you want to pick this red to paint somewhere else. So once you click on it, the effect picks here, it changes here. See, at your foreground the color is changed to the shade of red it is over there. I'm gonna have to skip through some of these tools because they are not necessary. I'd say they're not necessary at the meantime, since you're still getting comfortable to the Photoshop interface. But I'd like to really mention the clone stamp tool. What the clone stamp tool does is that it clones selected areas and reproduces it in another location. For instance, so what I did was go to clone stamp tool. That's right click for the option and hit clone stamp tool. Hold down Alt to sample the particular area, and so if I hold down Alt and click here, this is the area that is going to be sampled. This is the area that is going to be copied in order to be cloned, in order to be pasted somewhere else. And so I'm going to hold down Alt, left click, move my mouse, she's going to be here, and click. There we have London Bridge falling down. Yes, that is it. This is the eraser tool. The eraser tool is quite interesting. What it does is just like what every other eraser does. It cleans, it erases. You see, it erases. In order to use the eraser, there are three types of erasers. We have the eraser tool, the background eraser tool, and the magic eraser tool. This I'm going to go through all three of them so that you get to understand how they all work. So the basic eraser tool simply works like the eraser you usually have in hand on your brush. If you are lucky to, if you have a small eraser, it cleans smaller portions. The pink here is the color of our background. If you switch the foreground and background, you see it's blue now, or that shade of blue. And so that is how the eraser works. What the background eraser tool does is it erases everything to the core. It erases everything to the background. And so if we increase our brush size here and just paint, we are erasing the image and into the background. And so this checkered box once again tells us that it's transparent. And that is it for the background eraser tool. And for the magic eraser tool, it works like the magic wand. Select a particular section of similar detail and get rid of it. Select, get rid of it. Select, get rid of it. That's just what the magic eraser tool does. So for instance, if you wanted to get rid of a particular section, you could also select that using any of the selection tools, and then use a magic eraser to get rid of it. This nice, good, perfect square. And that is how the magic eraser tool works. So I'm just going to try to run through this as quick as possible. This video is already long. As some of you have complained about the length of videos. Yes, I yes, I apologize for that, but then I always want to give you as much information as I know or I have that I think would be useful to you, and so that is why. So we are just going to go over the basic tools. I'm not going to talk about all the three types of tools in each group. So this is the gradient tool. What does the gradient do? Gradient, you know what a gradient is. Let me set this to the usual basics. Usually it's black and white, or it samples your foreground and background colors to create a nice gradient for you. So let me use my usual pink and blue. I really like those colors, that combination, a little sharper. Yeah, these two. So what a gradient tool does is it creates gradients around. So for instance, if you wanted to make this look a little funky, so you just on a new layer or on that same layer, hit G or click on a gradient tool, select the sort of gradient you want, basics, blues, yeah, pinks, and then you just work with it. So when you come here, you simply hold and drag per the direction, but if you want it straight, you hold down shift act in, I think it's 45-degree angles. Yes, shift, was it yeah, shift works in 45-degree angles. So I'm holding down shift to do this. Okay, that's too bad. Let's use this transparent one. Click, and then shift for the pink. I think it's on reverse. Yes, it was on reverse, so you check this one, and then okay, not too nice. And then we have pink. Let me do it at the head area. Good. And then we're gonna have blue over here. And then what we could do is blend it. We could use see, let me see which looks more artistic. Well, I think this does hard light, so that at least the colors are actually shown. And so that is how you can use the gradient tool to play around with images. So this is the difference, and that is it. So yeah, that is it. I'm just trying as much as possible to be as fast. I'm trying as much as possible to be as fast as possible, if that sentence makes any sense. Now we have the blur tool. So for the blur tool, we're gonna really anyway, this is quite a high resolution photo. You can get this picture on Pixabay. Just type in black or African male or African male model, you should find it. Anyway, I might leave the link down in the description below. I usually forget to do that, so this time I won't forget. It's going to be there. And then click on the layer you'd want to blur out, or whose part you'd want to blur out. Adjust your brush size to fit. Here is your strength. The mode is normal. I mean, play around with those options up there once again, and then you may just click to blur. If you've noticed the eye has been blurred out a little, just work it like you're painting. So you could also increase the strength. I don't like the strength. Yeah, this is looking better. It's blurred out. I don't know if you can see it's blurred out. I don't know if you can see it's blurred out, but it is blurred out over here. Just I'm tempted to show the smudge tool. So what the smudge tool does is it allows you move pieces of anything at all. So for instance, let's push this up. We're gonna okay, because of the blur, we're gonna give him this elf looking ears. It's kind of cute though. I wasn't expecting it this way, but it's kind of cute. Just that the blur effect is destroying it. Let's increase. Yes. Oh no, this is too ugly. I want us to pull down his chin quite a bit. Have forehead. I pray this guy never sees this image. Yeah, you see, now he kinda looks different. If this guy never sees this image, I'll be sued. Anyway, that is it for the smudge tool. And now my favorite tool, the pen tool. So let's see how the pen tool works. Pen tool. So we zoom in. Let's just say, let me create a new solid so that. So let's see. So I'm just gonna draw any shape. Just gonna draw anything at all, not necessarily to resemble anything or anything at all. So this is something we have here, and so yeah, that's just how it simply works. And then we click on shape, mask, or selection over here, and then it does it. So it's giving us a shape as we drew it. So for instance, if we wanted a mask, let me just do this quick. Pen. I'm going to make this selection quite rough. What you have to do is just click and drag. So I'm clicking and dragging to actually create the curves. It would seem difficult and impossible it might seem difficult and impossible at first, but guys, it's not so difficult. Okay, it's not so difficult. The pen tool is one of the most comfortable tools to use in Photoshop, other than the move tool and eraser tool. Anyway, that's in my opinion. So I'm just going to make this very rough there, and then we click on selection. That is how we make a selection, and then we may mask it. Oh, okay, I made a mistake. should have had this layer selected, then we mask it. That is it. See how beautiful this is? And then we may put it in. And that is it, guys. Yeah. So that is simply what the pen tool does. It allows you perform certain selections and drawings. And that is it. Photoshop has quite simple to use tools. It just takes the creative mind to actually do the mind-blowing things we see people do. This is the text tool, and so I went to the text tool. Now at the text tool there are 4 of them. You have the horizontal type tool, which allows you type in the horizontal space. Yes, and then we also have the vertical, which allows you type in the vertical space. Yeah, and that is it. If you've seen it, vertical. So the vertical type marks to horizontal type mark, you won't be using it now, and so let's just ignore them. Let's use that time to go into character and paragraph. And so if you look at this section, or yours may be different, it may be somewhere else hanging around here, but you should look for this A and skill looking something. That is your. So here is the character properties, and so for instance, if I go to click on this, I can change the color from here to say black, so that is very, very conspicuous. We could also change the size from here. We could change the font from here. We could change the horizontal spacing from here. So if I say 50, okay, 50 is not so much, let's say 200. You see how far apart the characters have been separated from them. This is the vertical. These things have a name. I've forgotten what they are called. Indent and some other things, but I've forgotten what they are called. You probably know them. Kindly tell me down there in the link below. Remind me, guys. 18. So if you have all of them selected, this is going to determine the vertical spacing between them. So as you increase, it increases. If you decrease, it decreases. It's as simple as that. This is the width, the thickness. If I put it on ultra, this is the width, the thickness. If I put it on ultra, we're going to have it as that. Over here, this is on bold. It adds some more bold to the character, so to the weight. This is italic, uppercase, lowercase, superscript, subscript, underline, cancel through, strike through rather, and then that is it. So guys, just play around with these things. These also determine how your paragraphing is done. All of these, and most of these options you find here could also be found here. This enables you. Oh, you want me to raster my text? What is this? Oh yeah. Feel free. It doesn't do anything. And so you could select arc. I want you to observe this. What happens when you select bulge, and you feel free to play around with these things. That's what it is, guys. Learning Photoshop, you just have to play around with them, and that's why I'm running so fast. It is now in your hands to go and do whatever you please with it. That is just it, guys. Just continue experimenting with. And then to a very, very basic shape I should have even started with, guys. I apologize for that. The rectangular tool, I mean shapes, the shape section. The shape section, guys. The shape section. It's quite tricky. And there, so yeah. So over here you have once again, this is for Photoshop 2020, 2019, 2018 too. So once you have this shape over here, all of these tell you the position, the color, the fill, guys. Then you could, for the radius, for the curvature radius, this adjusts the curvature radius. It's linked. If you disable this, you see only the top left side is being changed, only the top right side. And so you could just use this for this looks like a metro train, something like that. And that is it. That is basically it. So if you want a circle, an ellipse, circle, ellipse, whatever, it's also gonna appear in the same vein. but then you should readjust this, and so you could readjust it to fit whatever size or shape you want. Polygonal tool is also available. Now with a polygonal tool, you'd have to come up here and tell them the number of edges, the number of sides you want. So let's say I want, let me be silly, let's try this. of course, my apologies people. 100 sides. Okay, this is our polygon of 100 sides. 100 sides. So that is it, a polygon of 100 sides. I don't know, I already had this feeling it was going to be quite circular, because so let's say if we have 4 sides, we're obviously going to get something like this, of course, square. And that is it for the polygonal tool. The line tool, guys, the line tool is just a really small stretched rectangle tool. So this is it. Now before you draw the line tool, you could adjust the weight here. So let's say we want the weight as 5, and then we draw. The weight is going to be this thick. The weight is how thick it is, so it's going to be 5 pixels thick. And then you could also play with it. Hit Ctrl T to show the transform controls, or simply go to your move. While selected on that shape, go to your move to show transform controls. Hold down Shift Alt and readjust the size, or you could hold down only Shift to move it in whatever direction you want. So this is actually a rectangle tool that has been made so small that we think it's a line tool, but it is a line tool. Anyway, you decide how you use or how you create. Whatever, nobody cares, just get the work done, that's all. This hand tool simply enables you, let me zoom in. This hand tool simply enables you move your canvas around when you are zoomed in. Or let's say you are zoomed in, you hit down space bar and then you move it, or you don't even have to hit down space bar, just move it. And then that is basically it, guys. That is it. Did we beat the time? No, we didn't beat the time. That is going to be it for this video. I'm sure I split this video into 2 because it's quite long. And thank you guys for watching. Let me know down in the comment section below how these videos are useful to you, or how they could improve, like someone told me to try to make the video shorter. Anyway, thank you very much for all your input and your likes and subscription, guys. It's very important, because it helps the YouTube algorithm recognize that there's a channel called Pixel Perfect, and at least show it to others, and so the cycle continues, guys. That is it, and stay safe in this pandemic period, and go design away, enjoy design.